USC.
That is 7 touchdown passes for Cody Kessler.
Behind-the-scenes insights and breaking news from the student-athletes who play for the Cardinal and Gold.
Kessler, as he drops to throw long, catches up into the 20, down to the 10. He's got a touchdown, USC.
Trojans Live is brought to you by your Southern California BMW centers. Take advantage of limited-time lease and finance offers available now at your Southern California BMW centers. Visit SoCalBMW.com today for details. Now, here are Jordan Moore and John Jackson.
Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, presented by your Southern California BMW Centers on the home of the USC Trojans, ESPN Los Angeles 710. This is our NCAA tournament special as USC has punched its ticket to the big dance for the first time since 2011. We will talk to head coach Andy Enfield momentarily if we can get him on the phone, and then later point guard Jordan McLaughlin is going to join us here in person. Plus, we're going to get into some spring football. It's that time of year again. The Trojans are a week into spring football season. Offensive coordinator T. Martin will check in with us and learn about USC's Rising Power program, women's lacrosse, with stars Michaela Michael and Amanda Johansson. I am Jordan Moore alongside John Jackson and JJ. Are you ready to see USC back in March Madness?
Hey, well, it's good. It's a good change, to be back and, talk about USC basketball in the tournament. I mean, it's just an exciting time, and, all Trojan fans will follow the tournament, and it only makes it better when you have your team in the bracket as well. I got them to win, by the way, getting out of the first round. No problem.
You do?
No problem.
Well, we may get into that here momentarily. We'll see how quickly we can get the coach on here. Segment will be presented by Audi. For over a century, Audi has overcome every obstacle to create progressive technologies that change the world. Experience innovation at a Southern California Audi dealer today. Audi, this is truth in engineering. All right, we do have the third-year head coach, first time in the NCAA tournament with the Trojans. Of course, he famously made the NCAA tournament at his previous job with Florida Gulf Coast, making a run to the Sweet 16 as a 15 seed. So this should be much easier as we bring in the coach. But, Andy, your greatest improvement of any Power 5 school, the USC, from year to year, what was the greatest cause of all that improvement this season?
Well, the credit goes to the players. They improved dramatically as individuals. They came together and improved as a team, and they're the reason we're here. They bought into the team concept, and they came to USC for a reason. That was to be in a moment like this where they can compete for a national championship.
Coach, you obviously came to USC for a reason as well, to get to this point, and and I know the goal is even to go far beyond this. But how long did you realistically think it would take to get USC back to the tournament to where they are now?
When I first got here, I hired 3 great assistant coaches, Tony Bland, Kevin Norris, and Jason Hart, who will all be terrific head coaches one day themselves. So we had a goal as a staff to build the program and work hard every day, every week we're on the job to make it better. And to do that, we had to change the culture as well as recruit talented young players. Our coaches are only as good as their players and vice versa. So we're all in this together. But I give my assistant coaches a ton of credit. We tried to change the culture and lay a foundation for success, and bring young, talented players that wanted to be at USC and wanted to take the challenge head on to build a program and be the reason why we turned the corner. So we didn't have a timetable. I didn't know how long it would take, but I did know that we had to go out and get young, talented players like Jordan McLaughlin and Elijah Stewart and the 2 Maliks and Caden Reinhardt and Darian Clark and then Chemezi and Benny. And we also needed Nicola and Julian and Luis to develop the guys that were here as freshmen walking the door. So the players have just done an outstanding job.
Coach, I was with you at the little selection party on Sunday. You see your name pop up. You're the number 8 seed in the East region. Then you see Providence pop up against you, the number 9 seed. That'll be your initial opponent. Take us through the process from the time you hear that information until tip time on Thursday, and how you go about scouting them and finding out about a team that you probably didn't see a whole lot of this year.
Providence is an outstanding team with great players. Chris Dunn is projected to be the number 1 point guard taken in the NBA draft. And the big guy who plays power forward and center for them, Ben Bento, is leading the Big East in scoring at 22 points per game. So right there they have 2 players as good as any we've played this season. And then their supporting cast is just athletic. They can shoot the ball. They can drive it. They're good rebounders. So they can beat anybody in the country. Providence, kind of like us this year. They were very hot at times. They struggled at times on the road. They have a lot of good wins under their belt, and they're very explosive. So we think this is going to be an outstanding college basketball game, and we just hope we're on the right side of it at the end of it. But we have a huge challenge as far as matchups go, and we really respect what they've done.
You know, Coach, in terms of preparing for this matchup, how much more difficult is it when, like to George's point, when you're facing a team that you don't see all the time? Is it possible that, you know, you guys have 2 or 3 common opponents, you know, throughout the season that you've played against, you know, that both of teams have played against, but is it possible when you watch film and do that kind of film study to understand what matchups you can possibly take advantage of and what ones you're going to have to be really wary of?
Well, that's the beauty of the NCAA tournament. There's some unfamiliarity with your opponent. You don't know them as well as you do your league teams that you play twice or sometimes 3 times in a year. So it will be an exciting matchup because they have matchup issues for us, and I believe we have some for them. And whatever team can capitalize on their strengths and play good defense and not turn the ball over, I think will win the game. So it is exciting. It's exciting for our staff to prepare, and I think it'll be exciting for our players to play a new team that we haven't seen.
Coach, you mentioned the 2 big names for the Providence Friars. You know, I'm wondering, obviously, Chris Dunn, I think a fair amount of people know about, as you said, big-time NBA projection for him. But, boy, there aren't many guys that score 38 points in college games. Ben Bentel did that the other day. He sort of made a habit of that kind of scoring this season. Who makes them go, Coach, from what you've seen initially?
Well, those 2 are the 2 we need to have shoot low percentages to give us a chance to win. We're not going to shut them out. They're too talented. They're too explosive offensively. But Chris Dunn can really hurt you with his passing and his ball handling, his penetration, as well as his transition game. So Chris Dunn is really the guy that makes that team go. He gets everyone involved. He doesn't need to score big for them to win and be effective. Ben Bentel is an exceptional scorer from the three-point line, from off the dribble. He can post up. He's 6'9", 235. So we haven't seen a guy quite like him all season where the versatility at that size. But we have matchup problems as well for them. So I think we're going to try to figure out how to slow them down, and I'm sure they'll do the same.
Hey, Coach, how much does experience matter when it comes to these tournaments? I mean, you've obviously made a great run with your team back in the past in Florida before you got to USC. Caitlin Reinhardt is the only player that you have that has any NCAA experience in terms of being in the tournament. You know, how much can you educate the guys, or how much does experience matter in terms of playing in this atmosphere, or is it just like playing a regular game?
Well, we'll find out because Providence has a little more experience than us. They were there last year. I think Chris Dunn has been there the last 2 years. So they have more NCAA experience than us. But I think the Pac-12 tournament prepared us for this. When you play in the Pac-12 tournament, you're on a neutral site against very good competition. So we were just there last week. We played great in our first game and pretty well our second game, and came up short, a 2-point game with 2 minutes left, and had a chance to beat a top 12 team in the country. But we've been playing pretty good basketball the last 2 or 3 weeks. We had a couple big wins, actually 3 good wins against tournament teams, and Providence is no different. So we're looking forward to the challenge.
I know a lot of people out here are excited about the tip time. Everyone can get home from work. They can enjoy a nice dinner and watch your team play. What do you think about tipping at 9:50 p.m. Eastern time, Coach, and how do you prepare for such a late start?
Well, the first thing in preparation will be a lot of coffee and espresso because I'm usually in bed before 10 o'clock.
You and me both, Coach.
Early, so I'm going to have to figure this out quickly because I'm not sure my wife will allow me to take naps with my 3 children going along the trip. So I think coffee and espresso will be the answer.
Sounds good. That sounds like the winning cocktail for this one. Thank you, Coach, and, of course, good luck. The entire Trojan family will enjoy watching you and your team on this run. Well deserved. When we come back, we will talk to your point guard, one of them at least, Jordan McLaughlin, coming up next on Trojans Live.